And with the sound of that royal horn, you know what it means. You know what o'clock it is. Apart from being at toops after 3, just at toops, not even a full minute yet. It's time to come through and to pull anchor on this weekend's edition of CCRP Update. Good afternoon. It's Sunday, November 9. The CCRP was created to celebrate, protect, and empower Jamaica's seniors while offering many benefits. Visit our website at ccrponline.org. CCRP Update is brought to you by JNGI for best value and a boatload of benefits. In today's update, our special guest will be Professor Errol Morrison, President of the Diabetes Association of Jamaica, as we prepare for the annual observance of World Diabetes Day on November 14. But, of course, we have first a little family business. Keep your ears tuned. 1. We're pleased that we're able to use the proceeds of the NDTC benefit earlier this year to purchase care packages for the elderly. The $800,000 will be used by Food for the Poor to prepare packages with hygiene products, protein drinks, and other food items for our elderly survivors of Hurricane Melissa. That's how we look after each other as a community, right across, regardless of age. Yeah. Our CCRP Living Legacy Awards luncheon was held on Friday, November 7th. What a joy. At the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Thanks. It was so good to see all the people we've heard so much about, people we haven't seen in ages. It was a big, big reunion, and some very, very, august people were honored. All proceeds, by the way, and that's the whole focus from the event, all proceeds will also go towards hurricane relief for those suffering from the effects of Hurricane Melissa. Our CCRP Update sponsors, BCIC, offer their amazing JNGI Silver Shield plan for auto and property insurance exclusively for CCRP members. The auto plan includes free benefits from the Jamaica Automobile Association with valet service for vehicle registration, fitness, and a 24-hour roadside assistance. Help us to continue advocating for your rights. When you're a CCRP member, you're actively supporting the rights of seniors and the elderly. If you're 40 or over, yeah, that's all, 40 or over, you're eligible to join us in the CCRP. When you join us, you'll open up a whole world of exciting events and money savings discounts. It's great. As a CCRP member, you will have access to discounts of up to 30%, 30% off from our over 100 discount partners, and that's inching up. So it will get to wherever soon, but at least 100. No, it's more than 100, definitely. Also offering 3 high-value health insurance plans for local and international coverage. Our members enjoy social events, excursions to scenic spots on our beautiful island, and there are other wellness and lifestyle events. Lots and lots. On next week's Sunday's program, we'll speak with Dr. Lucian Jones, Vice President of the National Road Safety Council, as we mark the observance of World Day of Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims. That's November 17. And that is a sad but necessary thing to commemorate. Commemoration helps us heal. We can't just sweep it away and pretend it's not there. You just get it erode your heart. So we need to pour it out, observe it, and preferably in community. That seems to work so much better than just in a room by yourself. Yeah. We are a community. Now to the meat of this week's update. This Friday, November 14, Jamaica aligns with annual global observance of World Diabetes Day. It's time now to sit at the feet of a homegrown guru of science. And art too, He just doesn't say a lot about that. Yes, he has managed the art of responsible self-monitoring and control of a condition that, if managed with medical counsel, can still yield a fulfilling, natural life of a reasonable length. Nobody can say you're going to live forever. Who wants to do that anyway when all the parts start fall off? No. We want a robust life while we're here, and we'd like that robustness to last so that we're not getting wonky. Warm CCRP welcome, Dr. Errol Morrison, President of the Diabetes Association of Jamaica. How are you doing, sir?
Fine. You hearing me?
Doing well. Good to hear you.
Good. All right. I'm here. I have a double. See, I'm going to turn off my phone.
Yes. That might, because I was about to say I'm hearing a double thing and it's not working so well.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm all yours.
All right, great, great. So let's jump right in, shall we?
Yes,
In
yes.
preventing the development of diabetes, what must I do? Because health, I think, is ultimately, maybe not before you're born, ultimately, the responsibility of the person to figure out how they can take over now that, they've come of age and whatnot, and how they're going to serve who they need to serve. So what can we do to be really very responsible and health positive individuals?
As you said earlier, even before you're born, there is something that could be done, and that is selecting your parents.
Yes,
Because
I don't know, man. I don't know.
but there's a strong hereditary aspect to the development of diabetes, especially in the older age group who are developing it for the first time. That has a strong hereditary one coming down from parents, grandparents, etc. Those who are in the younger group, quite often, although there's a hereditary pattern, but it may be due to some kind of infection, flu-like illnesses and so on, and you find it develops a lot in the rainy or the cold, periods of the year. So those are the big two things. And of course, when you have an underlying tendency, having inherited it, overweight will certainly aggravate its ability to show up. So weight loss is key, as an important contributing factor to reducing the occurrence of diabetes.
Okay, let's talk about the family tree. How does that play into your factor for diabetes? If it affects members in my family, am I more likely to get it than somebody who isn't within a family tree that has diabetes in it?
Absolutely. So if one parent has it, your chance of getting diabetes is about 50% higher than in the population. And if both parents have it, you're almost sure to get it. So the thing to do is, with that underlying predisposition, to watch what you do in your lifestyle. Keep that weight down. That's the most important factor that we can tell you.
Well, but I've heard you say before, and I know this is true, that you can mitigate. You can't completely escape nature's path, but you can mitigate, the risk and the extent of the risk, like consumption of food. What can we do there to mitigate, if not eliminate, that risk?
Well, that is where now we try to use our food intake and drink intake to reduce any predisposition to developing overweight patterns. And so how you eat, what you eat, when you eat it, all these are important and related to your lifestyle, your work, etc. What someone who is working in the construction industry, mixing cement, carrying loads and so on, his needs are different from the person who walks into an office and sits at a computer all day. So one has to fashion the meal intake, quantities and so on, according to the lifestyle. That's most important. So it's not one broad brush that I can tell you, just never eat this or never, because nothing is wrong with eating a little of everything. It is how much and when you're going to have it. But one of the things I must point out, that tendency to late evening eating, you come home from work and then a heavy dinner with all the foodstuffs and so on, that must be discouraged, because sooner than later you're going to go to bed. And during sleep, you're not active to work off all of that energy you have just taken in the meal. And so it will contribute to increase in the blood sugar levels, and that can further lead to aggravation of blockage of blood vessels and the complications we see. So
they really just have to be conscious and listen to your doctor, because those same things that we eat otherwise, that they're not like polished rice and whatever, there's some good in having things like yams of some sort, or sweet potatoes, but then go gobble them down in quantity and the wrong time of day, that is kind of going to add another factor.
Right, and you mentioned quite rightly those ground provisions that, years back we would say don't eat, but now we say do eat, because they slowly release the sugars in the body, and that avoids the high peaks, So those are encouraged. And you mentioned earlier the polished rice, that is like table sugar. It quickly releases.
Yes.
So the kinds of foods you have is very, very important. And I just want to take time out to point out different strokes for different folks. So this broad don't eat this, I don't recommend it. Find first what kind of lifestyle they lead, what it is they do. Are they an athlete? Are they, you're doing a lot of physical activity as opposed to being sedentary, in the office. Two different types of approaches to eating. But in general, that late night eating has to be managed.
Wow. Is it possible that can shift if you have mainly night shifts for a particular thing based on the work you do? Or, is it better to avoid something that has these changing shifts? I've always thought that those things are not of God. Me can't manage. I've done that, and I'm like, I just don't feel like my mother picked me.
No,
one day you're dead hungry at midnight, and another time you're raw at 12 o'clock because your body confused. It's not I'm hungry because the body needs this, but it's not the right time for what my body needs. So I had to get help with my doctor to adjust that.
You're so right, because that's why we say that before bedtime meal, that late meal, because if you're doing a job that requires you to be working at night, then that before bedtime meal may very well be in the morning. So one has to adjust that to the lifestyle. Most important, you're talking, listening to the individual, understanding what they're doing, and advise appropriately. That is the key, right?
What, are there any foods or drinks that we should just avoid? I mean, I wouldn't say, but avoid because they're more likely to cross the line we don't want to do.
Jerry, categorically no.
There
is no such thing as a diabetic diet, and we want people to recognize, especially at this time, of the rebuilding and so on going on across the country. They need to know that they can eat from the family pot, as we would call it.
Right.
Just what the family is doing, but, big but, to have smaller meals more frequently through the day and avoid that before bedtime heavy eating. Okay. And of course, there are few things that you want to watch. Not that you can't have it, but you need to manage it.
Right.
The oily foods, the very sugary, foods and drink. Those are very important. And the fatty foods. Those, tend to give a lot of what you call release of energy, which, if not being utilized at the earliest point, will contribute to blood sugar rise. Remember, everything you eat, be it starches or sugars, proteins, meat kind, fats, all of them cause an elevation in blood sugar level. All of them. So it's a matter of managing it, and avoid any overload. The usual benefits we tend to talk about. Avoid that in a diabetic situation. Smaller meals more frequently through the day.
Wonderful. What about diabetics coping post-Melissa, especially in some of the most badly affected areas?
That is so important because first of all, I would expect when they heard the hurricane coming, they would have ensured that they had adequate supplies of their medications. That's number one. And number two is they worry, those who take the injections of insulin, the insulin deteriorates if left out in the sun and outside of refrigeration in general. But just being kept in the cool part of the house, in the bathroom or so on, some people may even stand it in a little saucer of water just to keep it cool. It can do very well for over a month. Okay, so they don't need to panic because that's a big question that keeps coming in almost every day to Diabetes Association. What are we going to do about our insulin? The
Mm-hmm.
answer is just keep it in a cool place. Avoid exposing it unduly to the sun. And of course, you don't want to put it on ice. You don't have to rush around trying to get ice or refrigeration. Just keep
Mm-hmm.
it cool. And it can last you for the better part of a month quite easily.
All right, last one. Why does we all need to exercise, and the movement is necessary for living beings, but why is it particularly important for those of us living with diabetes?
That is what we were alluding to earlier when we said you don't want to eat and then go to bed. You
Yes,
know,
yes.
because what is happening when you're exercising, the body, the musculature in particular,
Mm,
sucks up the nutrients, including the sugar, out of the blood to
mm,
give the muscles all the energy it needs to move around and so on. And so it is important that we use that exercise to help us remove excess sugar out of the bloodstream. So physical activity, as we call it, because when people think of exercise, they start talking about going to the gym and all this. So you don't need that. All we want is move and keep moving for about a half an hour every day. If
mm,
you can half an hour, 10 minutes down, 10 minutes later, but non-stop. You know, when
mm,
you answer the phone or talk to them or say hello or so, just your own time, a
yes.
half an hour a day,
Mm,
right? Keeps the problems away.
mm.
So
I
that
think
is important.
that's why so many people have on the headphones, because the music will make you do all kinds of things, especially your favorite music. You're not going to stop and think about it if you're tired. You're so into the groove.
Excellent. So that
Mm,
is the whole role of exercise there.
you
Physical
feel good.
activity, as we call it. Instead of going in the elevator at work, take the staircase. Instead
Yes.
of trying to park in front of the door at work,
Mm,
park it and then walk to the workplace. Little things like those, but just
mm,
walking, swimming,
mm,
skipping, jumping, running, anything you need that just keeps the body moving. That's
yeah.
key, right? And a half an hour a day is the kind of general advice that we give.
And don't be scared if you never grew up anywhere there was sea or pool or nothing like me, Manchester, dry. I learned how to swim at 55, and I've done a couple laps at the stadium pool, and I've been dropped in the deep end and not feared. You
Okay.
have people who know how to deal with adults, older adults,
Yes.
unfit, mature older adults, so it's fine. They're not just swim coaches barking orders, because it's not for a championship, it's for personal development. Swim Jamaica is a movement that is very, very good with seniors. I can testify to that.
Good. And there are a number of diabetics who may have certain problems such as inability to move with a
Yes,
kind of fluidity. So those may need a little bit of more
of course,
supervision, to guide them into the kind of exercises which
of
might be
course.
best.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
absolutely. Dr. Errol Morrison, President of the Diabetes Association of Jamaica, thank you so much for speaking to your wisdom, and hopefully we can all take it to heart and do what is the best for us and by extension for our families.
Thank you so much, Jerry.
Bless you. So until next Sunday at 3 for all things CCRP, visit our website at ccrponline.org, and our YouTube channel is there too, CCRP. As soon as you touch 40 come January, you see, do not wait. Why wait? There are insights, there's networking, there's exciting events, money savings discounts, up to 60% off on a whole set of things. Build connections. Never feel alone. Keep informed now before retirement hits. So you ease into retirement with a fairly stable mind. Not just by not getting ill mentally, but just by being, your peace of mind is intact, because you know you'll be okay. CCRP update was brought to you by JNGI, and contact Gallagher Insurance Brokers or JNGI for best value and a boatload of benefits.
Protecting your personal data is a priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. We urge you to use the agency's official platforms to conduct